Hi, this is Melinda and Ryan Smallbone sending a message to all you Easy Reach listeners. We'd like to take this opportunity basically to share with you our story on how we've been able to achieve in our very first ever period 10%, 13% and a really exciting 15%. We've also managed to sponsor one of our customers in our first week, and they also have achieved 10% in the same period, which has resulted in us getting our startup feedback along with a free retail kit. And then to top it all, we won the the £20 raffle at the pole position group meeting this week. So we're really feeling very, very happy and very excited indeed. Having achieved this, it's really given us a light at the end of the tunnel with regards to the financial problems that we've been having currently. But primarily, though, it's maintaining our belief in Clean Easy, because initially, I think, like so many people, we too have felt that the opportunity was all a little bit too good to be true. But now we're living proof that the goals can really be achieved. I'll give you a bit of background on us both. Ryan worked as a reinsurance broker in London, and he left his role approximately 12 and a half years ago due to the stressful environment. And he retrained as a plasterer and a bathroom fitter, and he started up his own business using these trades. Myself, I'm a mother of 4 children. I've got 3 boys, a little girl. And my eldest being 23, I've got a 21-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 2.5-year-old little girl. I also worked in the city. I was an IT manager in an investment bank, but I decided to take redundancy about 3.5 years ago because, like Ryan, I too had decided I'd had enough of the environment, the long hours. I earned great money, but never ever had time to enjoy any of that money or spend any of the time with my family. So, I also hoped that I could help Ryan with his business once I stopped working, which I did to start with. I helped him. I went out and I did plastering with him. I worked hard and I was his labourer as well. But unfortunately, his work has gradually come to a halt, and now we found ourselves in debt and barely able to pay our mortgage. As Ryan's been really struggling, he's been the main breadwinner and struggled to earn money. I've desperately wanted to help. It's been hard watching him have the burden of earning the money on his own. So about 4 weeks ago, my daughter-in-law looked up a search on the internet for jobs, working from home. And I kind of thought about going out and getting a local job, but then there was, the thing of getting childminders involved, and that was going to be very costly. So the idea that I could work from home and have something that we could use and work around the children, was great. So when we stumbled across Clean Easy, we realised that, providing this all really does do what it says, it would be ideal. Anyway, the first week I was really, really excited when everything arrived, and then I was absolutely horrified when I learned that it was the school holidays. This meant that I had both Charlie and my 8-year-old daughter Amber to tag along beside me. I was really quite concerned. I didn't know how I was going to manage with the catalogues, with a little child as well in her pushchair. In the end, we made Amber walk. But Charlie was brilliant as well. He really did help me. He got all the books together. He helped me bag them up. So did Ryan, and then we had Amber, the 2.5-year-old, putting all the stickers on the books. Some of them, I might add, did go on a bit wonky, but nevertheless, she had to play her part too. Off we went around our village. We had many of the neighbours coming out and smiling as they watched Charlie and Amber and I dragging 2 trolleys up the street, each with 100 catalogues in, with Amber walking at our side, chatting away. Probably took us about 3 hours to get the first lot of books out the first time, because the kids didn't stop talking and getting distracted, and Amber started to get tired about halfway and kept sitting down and having little sit-down breaks, at the bottom of people's driveways. But then 2 days later, Daddy looked after Amber, and Charlie and I went out to go and collect the books. Now, Charlie's got a very, very loud voice. I think he should be a bingo caller when he gets older. But every time we got an order, he would just scream it out with excitement across the road, and I had to keep telling him to be quiet. So in the end, we made a game of it, and we called them golden tickets, just like in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And we would come home, get really excited, and work out how much money we'd retailed each time we collected the books. Then Charlie, when he started to see the orders coming in, he decided he wanted to be in on the deal, and he started to question what sort of percentage he should be getting for his help. But I have to say, overall, we worked really hard. It was a bit frustrating at times having the children there because I couldn't just crack on and walk fast to get my books in. But on the really sort of plus side of everything, I had a lovely time. I had time spent with my children every day. They were happy. They weren't indoors sitting watching a TV or up against a computer. They were out in the fresh air, walking around, as I say, chatting and playing and really enjoying themselves. They were really polite. I taught them, how to politely go up to people's doors and ask them nicely for their catalogues. And so many of the customers were smiling when they opened the door and saw the children. And many of the customers that we chatted to along our sort of travels did actually place orders. So, I seriously recommend borrowing a child to get your orders in if you haven't already got one. By the second week, we'd listened to our very first conference CD, and although I can't remember the person's name on the CD, there was something that he said which has really sort of stuck in our heads and something that we followed from that day on, and that was, when it's the end of the day and you feel that you've done absolutely everything, even when you're absolutely knackered and you feel, I've done everything that I can for the day, always do just one more thing. And doing that just one more thing has really started us sort of going. And from that moment, just like the momentum of starting to jog or gradually building up to a run, then to a sprint, each day has just got better and better, and we've become more and more organised. We've listened to our upline, we've listened to the CDs that they've sent. We haven't questioned anything that they've said. We've listened to their advice. We've remained open-minded. We've followed the recipe that we've been given. And basically, our routine is early morning, we get up, we collect our straggler books, then we go out and collect the books that we previously dropped. We come home, we sit down, we have lunch with our little girl, and while we're having lunch, we prep our books ready to go out for the afternoon. And then finally, late afternoon, we do our deliveries. And then in the evenings, we find time to, have our meals, spend time with the family, and then late evening, we'll spend it sort of networking on the internet and the telephone. But to top it all, I think really one of the big things for us was, initially when we started, we did have a goal, and although it said in the adverts make between £50 to £100 a week, we did set our goal quite high, and we said that we wanted to be able to pay our mortgage. And our very first income certificate that's come through now was for £672. Our mortgage payment is $730, so we're absolutely dead chuffed with that. And what I'd like to say is, if we can do this, anyone can. It really isn't hard. It needs you to be disciplined and just do that one more thing when you feel that you've done enough. And I think that's a perfect recipe to achieve the same results that we have. So for you new starters out there, I hope this can help you, and hopefully it gives you a bit of advice and help to get yourselves to those bonus points as well, because they are achievable. And I said to my husband actually the other day, I remember being a little girl and looking at the cereal packets in the supermarket and always wanting the toy on the side, and I'd even buy the worst cereals ever, things like shredded wheat, and I would get them home to realise there was no toy in the box, and I had to save up coupons, and it wasn't just one, it might be sort of 50 or 60, and there's only so many boxes of shredded wheat that you can eat. So goals like that were never sort of realistically achievable for me as a child, and I've always sort of felt these point system things never really work. So joining Clean Easy and seeing these, it's just amazing that they are reachable, they really, really are. And we've watched them tick up and got so excited. We hit the 10 and then we got to the 13. And finally, I remember saying to my husband, let's just really go for it. Let's see if we can get that 15%. And we went for the sprint, if you like, in that last week. And we made it. We did it. And if we did, you certainly can. Anyway, that's enough of me now. So over and out, and thank you.